Welcome viewers, welcome to Medico Virally. In this video, we are going to discuss bell of breast tissue. So this is the part 2 of the breast pathology. If you have missed the part 1 of the breast pathology video, kindly do watch. And in this section, we are discussing bell. You might be surprising what is bell. Bell is nothing but it is a benign epithelial lesion of breast tissue. So, in order to simplify, first I will be just writing only the short forms of all the pathological conditions of the bell. So, just bell is nothing but benign epithelial lesion. It is of mainly three types. The first one is NPBC, that is non-proliferative breast changes. So non-proliferative means it does not proliferate into or it does not progress into the cancerous condition. And the second one is PBC, that is proliferative breast changes. So which proliferates or progresses into the cancerous condition. And the third one is a cancer situation, that is carcinoma in situ. So these are the main three divisions of bell. So one by one, when we are discussing about the NPBC, the other name of the non-proliferative breast changes or breast disease is fibrocystic changes. We have to understand about this word. The word cyst is nothing but there is a presence of a cyst which is filled with a fluid. So this cyst is usually named by blue dome cyst, that is blue dome cyst. This is the name of the cyst. For example, if the cyst has any leakage of the fluid, so for example if the cyst has any leakage of the fluid, this leakage of the fluid may cause inflammation. Inflammation is leading to the final change, fibrosis of the tissue, and this word tells you the word fibro means it is causing the fibrosis of the breast tissue due to the inflammation, and it is caused due to the leakage of the fluid. And another word you have to remember here is adenosis. Adenosis is nothing but there is an increase in number of the acini per lobule. Increase in acini per lobule. So this is the information regarding non-proliferative breast changes. So once again, here we have the word cyst, blue dome cyst, and the fibrosis. And the main clinical feature of this disease is a funny name, that is lumpy and dumpy breast. So it is a painful condition. The breast is known as lumpy, dumpy, painful breast. So this occurs usually in less than 50 years female patients. This is all the information regarding the NPBC. And coming to the PBC. So the PBC has mainly two divisions. That is, one is A negative and the other is A positive. You might be wondering, the A negative and A positive are not the blood groups here. A stands for atypical hyperplasia. So, the proliferative breast changes without atypia and the proliferative breast changes with atypia. So, the proliferative changes without atypia is again divided into four conditions. The first one is epithelial hyperplasia, and the second one is the sclerosis, adenosis, and the third one is complex sclerosis, and the fourth one is papilloma. So the first, epithelial hyperplasia, is nothing but if there is more than two layers of the cells. More than two layers of the cells present, then we call this as epithelial hyperplasia. And coming to the sclerosis adenosis, for example, this is a lobule, and inside this the acini have got collagenized. So excessive collagenization and fibrosis leads to sclerosing adenosis. So collagen plus fibrosis. And the next condition is complex sclerosis lesion. C stands for complex sclerosis. In the complex sclerosis, just remember this image. Inside the lobule, we may have the stroma. This stroma is densely collagenized, and the outer part is like this, and the outer is the epithelial. The red one which I have drawn here attaching is the epithelial component. So this epithelial component on biopsy or radiological films, it looks as if it is a scar. So this is the point you have to remember about the complex sclerosis lesion. And what is the difference between the sclerosis adenosis and the complex? The sclerosis adenosis looks like microcalcifications. The microcalcifications is approximately or similar to the malignancy. And what about the complex sclerosis lesion? It mimics the invasive cancer. And the next one is papilloma. I am trying to write the word itself because we have a mnemonic here. Papilloma ends with the letter A, and this must remember you the intraductal papilloma. It's not interductal, it's intraductal. And for this, I am trying to draw an image here, that is, this is the duct, and inside the duct we find a papilloma or a growth. So this growth may be of two types. One is a complete compression and the other is incomplete or partial compression. In the complete compression, you find a bloody discharge, and the incomplete one you find serous discharge. So this is the point you have to remember about the papilloma. And next we are going to the A plus, that is proliferative breast changes or breast disease with atypical hyperplasia. This is mainly of two types, that is ALH and ADH. So ADH is not you are thinking antidiuretic hormone. It's not antidiuretic hormone. It is atypical ductal hyperplasia, and the ALH is atypical lobular hyperplasia. And the point you have to remember about the ALH is less than 50% of acini in each lobule are involved. And the ADH is partial involvement of both lobules or ducts. So this is the point you have to remember about the PBC. This is all the information. And there is only one point you have to remember about the carcinoma in situ, that is basement membrane is not involved. So basement membrane is not involved in this disease. So I think this is all the information which is necessary for cracking MCQs, but once again I am just trying to quickly wrap up the pathogenesis of the Bell. So, Bell benign epithelial lesion, it is mainly of three types, that is non-proliferative breast changes, proliferative breast changes, and carcinoma in situ. In the non-proliferative breast changes, we call it as fibrocystic breast changes. So here we have a dome-like cyst, blue dome cyst, and due to this, if the leakage is present, then it leads to the inflammation, which leads to fibrosis. And in this condition, we have a lumpy, bumpy, painful breast. So this is the points you have to remember about NPBC. Regarding the proliferative breast changes, we have two blood group like conditions, that is A negative and A positive. That is the one without atypia or without atypical hyperplasia and the one with atypical hyperplasia. The one without atypical hyperplasia is again divided into four components. The first one is epithelial hyperplasia, and the second one is sclerosis adenosis, and the third one is complex sclerosis changes, and the fourth one is papilloma. So papilloma is intraductal, and the complex sclerosis lesion is invasive cancer, and the sclerosis adenosis is a microcalcification, and epithelial hyperplasia is more than 2 layers of the cells are present. In the A positive one, that is proliferative breast change with atypical hyperplasia, we have two conditions, ALH and ADH, that is atypical lobular hyperplasia with less than 50% of the acini involved, and ADH, atypical ductal hyperplasia with partial involvement of lobules or ducts. CIS is both basement membrane is not involved. And coming to the final points, we have to remember the relative risk and the absolute risk of these conditions. So, one by one, the non-proliferative breast changes, the first one, non-proliferative breast changes. Proliferative breast change or disease without atypia. In the next, proliferative breast change or disease with atypia, and carcinoma in situ. Regarding this, the relative risk of the non-proliferative breast change is 1%, and without atypia is 1.5 to 2%. Here it is about 4 to 5% in atypical hyperplasia, and in carcinoma in situ it is of about 8 to 10%. Coming to the absolute risk, just you have to remember like this 3%, and after writing it 5 to 7%, and then keep on writing 5. Before 5 write 1 and 2, and before 7 you have to write here 1. So it is 15 to 17%, and it is 25 to 30%. In this way you can easily remember these risk factors, because these are also asked in the recent pattern of the MCQ examinations. So the non-proliferative breast change has a relative risk of 1% and absolute risk of 3%. And the PBC without atypia has 1.5 to 2%, and the absolute risk is 5 to 7%. And the PBC with atypical hyperplasia, that is 4 to 5% and 15 to 70%, and carcinoma in situ is about 8 to 10%, and absolute risk is about 25 to 30%. Thank you for watching this video, and kindly subscribe and feel free to comment below.